Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of September 21st, 2024. I'm your host, Sharifah Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel AUC Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Equipment and personnel losses. Ukrainian forces sustained extensive losses across different fronts, including the destruction of tanks, combat armored vehicles, field artillery, and electronic warfare stations. This includes advanced Western-supplied military hardware. Notable items destroyed or damaged include British-made FH-70 howitzers, US-made M777 howitzers, and various other artillery systems.
Welcome to Frontline Updates podcast. That keeps you up to date on global military developments. Today, we're honored to be joined again by Colonel AUC Oguntoye, an infantry officer responsible for leading ground forces at all levels of command. He's here to give us an in-depth briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of September 21st, 2024. Colonel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to provide this update.
Colonel, let's start with the most recent actions. Can you summarize what the Russian armed forces accomplished over the past day?
Last night, our forces conducted a group strike using high-precision weapons and attacked drones targeting key energy facilities, UAV production workshops, and military sites critical to Ukraine's military-industrial complex. The strikes were successful, and all designated targets were hit, disrupting Ukraine's capabilities in producing and deploying unmanned systems and impacting their overall logistics and operations.
That sounds like a significant strategic move. Could you tell us about the actions taken by the North Group of Forces?
The North Group of Forces focused on operations in the Liptsov and Volchansk directions. We successfully engaged Ukrainian formations, specifically the 36th Marine Brigade and the 113th Territorial Defense Brigade, inflicting severe losses. We repelled 3 counterattacks from Ukrainian assault groups, including the 57th Motorized Infantry and 71st Jaeger Brigades, resulting in the loss of up to 135 Ukrainian servicemen, several combat vehicles, and artillery pieces.
How about the West Group of Forces? What were their key achievements?
The West Group of Forces improved their tactical position and inflicted significant damage on Ukrainian mechanized and territorial defense brigades across several regions, including Petropavlivka and Kolesnikovka. We repelled counterattacks by the 116th Mechanized and 3rd Assault Brigades, resulting in Ukrainian losses of about 435 servicemen, 4 tanks, and several artillery units, including US-made M777 and M198 howitzers. Additionally, we destroyed a US-made and /TPQ-50 counterbattery radar and several ammunition depots.
Moving to the Southern Front, what developments can you share?
The Southern Group of Forces continued to occupy more advantageous lines and positions, defeating formations of Ukrainian mechanized, motorized infantry, mountain assault, and airmobile brigades in key areas such as Kramatorsk and Chasov Yar. The Ukrainian forces lost up to 840 servicemen, along with a significant amount of artillery, including British-made FH-70 howitzers and US-made M777 and M119 guns. 3 electronic warfare stations were also destroyed, further hampering their operational capabilities.
It's clear that multiple fronts are active. What about the Center Group of Forces?
The Center Group of Forces advanced further into enemy defenses, engaging a variety of Ukrainian brigades, including airborne assault and National Guard units. We repelled 9 counterattacks, causing the Ukrainian forces to lose up to 520 servicemen, several artillery pieces, and various US-made combat vehicles, including the Max Pro armored combat vehicle. A field ammunition depot was also destroyed, adding to the disruption of their supply lines.
And the East Group of Forces, what progress have they made?
The East Group improved their positions along the front line, defeating Ukrainian mechanized and motorized infantry brigades in locations like Ubladar and Velika Novoselka. The enemy suffered losses of up to 160 servicemen, along with armored vehicles and French-made Caesar howitzers. The group's actions have been crucial in maintaining pressure on Ukrainian defenses and preventing their advances.
Let's talk about the DNEPR group of forces. What were their key actions?
The Dnipro group of forces targeted Ukrainian infantry and marine brigades in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. We inflicted losses of about 60 servicemen and destroyed 4 vehicles and a field ammunition depot. The group's operations continue to disrupt Ukrainian defensive efforts in these critical areas.
Air operations seem to be playing a pivotal role as well. Can you elaborate on recent actions by Russian aerospace forces?
Yes, our aerospace forces, along with missile troops and artillery, targeted 2 missile and artillery weapon warehouses and damaged a cargo ship carrying Western-supplied missiles and ammunition intended for Ukrainian forces. Additionally, our air defense systems intercepted multiple threats, including long-range Neptune guided missiles, French-made Hammer aerial bombs, HIMARS rockets, and a significant number of UAVs.
That's a substantial impact on Ukrainian resources. Can you provide us with an update on the ongoing situation in the Kursk region?
In the Kursk region, our North Group of forces continued offensive actions, targeting Ukrainian mechanized and airborne brigades near Lyubimovka and other nearby settlements. Over the past 24 hours, we thwarted multiple Ukrainian counterattacks and inflicted additional personnel and equipment losses, including armored fighting vehicles and artillery units. Our continued operations aim to neutralize Ukrainian attempts to breach the border and secure strategic positions.
Before we wrap up, can you give us a brief about the Sudzhan news?
It is, of course, premature to say that the Ukrainian armed forces are in Kursk Oblast everything, but some things are already beginning to emerge. By and large, several important circumstances are developing: the gradual exhaustion of the Ukrainian armed forces' resources for the Kursk operation, the approach and deployment of the main forces of the Russian Federation, as well as a flank attack from Snagist. It was this attack that the Ukrainian armed forces tried to counter with a kind of uppercut near Veselye and Novi Put, but it seems that the Russian General Staff had foreseen such a development. The current state of affairs near Sudza is called a noose for a reason. The isolation of 2 combat areas is underway actions with parallel work to prevent a third from happening. And parallel to these events, the isolation of the escape routes of the Ukrainian armed forces is underway both in the Kursk and Sumy regions.
Finally, what is Ukraine's victory plan?
We believe that Ukraine's primary objective is to draw NATO into a direct confrontation with Russia. This strategy could enable Ukraine to join the alliance and secure victory in the war. Currently, they lack alternative scenarios, and their reserves and equipment are at critical levels. Without support, they will struggle to endure a prolonged conflict, which means they need to seek ways to escalate the situation and provoke the Kremlin.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for having me. It's important to keep the public informed about the ongoing efforts and achievements of our forces on the ground. At least 22 Palestinians have been killed by an Israeli strike that hit a school sheltering displaced people in Gaza City. Israeli forces and Hezbollah have carried out new attacks along the Lebanon-Israel border.